Yo guys, Vision Gen here, bringing you more Marvel Rivals content. In today's episode, we'll be explaining all of the latest and new updates for the upcoming Season 2 update, the Hellfire Gala update, which will release on April 11th. This will provide us with new heroes, team-up abilities, buffs and nerfs to all existing abilities and heroes, a new map, seasonal changes to the missions and chrono tokens, as well as costumes with regards to personalization and gifting, and as well as the theme being around the mutants. And of course, a new villain will be coming and added to the new season. So on that note, let's get right into it. Now, as I mentioned, we are going to be getting some new heroes to the game, which has been confirmed for April 11th. We will be getting Emma Frost, who will be a Vanguard in this game. She looks super cool to play with the new team abilities and, of course, that different dynamic in terms of lock-on abilities with similar traits to the likes of Scarlet Witch and Cloak and Dagger. It's just going to be a better dynamic all-round and with some slight changes to the way the game is currently played and the overall meta. Hopefully, for anyone that is struggling in higher ranks and competitive, where players just don't tend to go two tanks, this should now sort this problem out, as a lot of players are going to be guaranteed playing and trying out the new hero Emma Frost. So that will be a great new feature. I cannot wait to try that out, and I will be bringing out a guide in the next week or so. So keep an eye out for that. And of course, the other hero that has been confirmed will release on the 2.5 update midway through the season, which will be Ultron, and has been confirmed. He will be a strategist hero in this game, the villain of this new theme in Krakoa and the mutants. So that is just an all-round great update and good announcement to be shared. And of course, as I mentioned in the intro, we will be receiving a brand new hero going forward every single month as of Season 3 and going forward, which is just a massive dub, and I cannot believe they have confirmed this, which also means that the new season format has changed and will now be a 2-month process. So effectively, each month in the season, you'll gain one hero just like we got now, but basically, it'll be a shorter timeline, bringing us more heroes a lot sooner, and heroes like Blade, who has been teased throughout the Season 1 update and who is highly anticipated to come to this game, and for players who want to play this character will likely come to the game a lot sooner than we anticipated. Now, as well as these heroes, there have also been some seasonal changes, adding in the likes of weekly missions alongside those daily and seasonal challenges to improve the chrono token process and help players just all round earn tokens a lot easier. In addition to this, the new update is going to provide costume personalization to allow players to just customize their favorite costumes, which is just a wicked update. I love that feature, and that just shows that the attention to detail that these developers are looking at is off the charts, and a massive thumbs up all round for these developers. And of course, as well as this, new costumes and existing costumes will now be able to be gifted to help those lesser fortunate players and friends who aren't able to get as many skins as maybe yourself or myself, and also encourage other players to purchase more skins if you're intending to then gift them out for the other players, or maybe you could even then trade your skins between each other. Now, as for team-up abilities, there are going to be a few changes with regards to adding in new team-up abilities, taking away players out of an existing trio or duo team-up ability, and of course just removing team-up abilities in general. So the two they are going to be removing from the existing setup and changing the meta by doing this is the Metallic Chaos involving Scarlet Witch and Magneto, which of course is a super effective one and arguably one of the main reasons why Magneto is high in the sort of most likely to be used Vanguards. And then of course the Voltaic Union, which involves Thor and Captain America and Storm. So this will slightly, in my opinion, change the dynamic and when Thor and Cap are used, because initially using them two together pairs really well for their styles, but also with the Captain America buff that he gains. And now by removing these team abilities from both of these two setups, completely changes the way these characters are played. Now, as for new team abilities, I'm actually going to be making a new video in the upcoming series where I'll be sort of breaking down exactly what all of the new team ups do. But here's a quick overview of all of the new ones that they're adding. There are 4 in total. The first one will, of course, involve Emma Frost, the newly added hero, who will be the anchor, and she'll provide the likes of Psylocke and Magneto the mental projection team ability, which sounds really cool. And basically, Emma Frost will gain a 100 health increase if she has either of the two of those heroes on her team, when then Magneto receives the magnetic resonance ability through his team up with Emma Frost, and then Psylocke will then receive the soul resurgence ability through her team up with Emma Frost. And then as for Doctor Strange, he will now gain a team up ability with the likes of Scarlet Witch, as of course she has lost her team ability with the likes of Magneto. This new one with Doctor Doctor Strange is called Arcane Order, where Doctor Strange, as the anchor, gains a 100 health increase with Scarlet Witch on his team, and she will gain a new magical mystical burst ability through her team-up ability with Doctor Strange. Now, as for number 3, Captain America will now gain his own team ability as an anchor with the Winter Soldier, known as the Stars Aligned, which is quite a highly anticipated team ability to begin with, based on the lore and the two characters in general. And then as Cap, as the anchor, he will gain also a 100 health increase and a 5% damage boost with the likes of Winter Soldier on his team. And then Winter Soldier, of course, will then unlock the devastating Stellar Impact ability, which sounds really cool, and I cannot wait to try this out. Of course, this will slightly make the character probably more powerful than he already is, which isn't really necessary, but we'll have to see how it plays out in the new update. And then as for the last and the fourth team ability they are adding, Namor now gains the Gamma Charge team ability, where he gains a Gamma Monstro ability through his team up with Hulk instead of Luna Snow, which will basically lead me on to the reduced heroes for other team ups that are existing in the game. So the first one is that Doctor Strange no longer gains the Gamma Charge team ability with Hulk due to the Namor one, and of course the Doctor Strange and the Arcane Order with Scarlet Witch. As for the second one, Namor will no longer have the Chilling Charisma team ability with Luna Snow, and instead will have the Gamma Charge, which will slightly increase his damage output, I assume, but of course will no longer deal any sort of slowing or stunning effect to enemies by freezing them. And then as for the third one, Psylocke will no longer gain the Dimensional Shortcut ability with Magic and Black Panther, so that is a big team shift in terms of dive comp and just the setup in general that's in this current meta. And then as for the fourth and final one, Winter Soldier will no longer gain the Ammo Overload ability with Rocket, which finally this has happened. It was not necessary by any means. It effectively gave the Winter Soldier two team abilities, two overpowered team abilities. So this addition will align with Season 2's focus on basically refreshing the team dynamics and introducing just more powerful and new combinations of heroes and team abilities, which I'm all for. And then finally, just before we wrap up with the latest updates, there have been a lot of buffs and nerfs as expected, so I will quickly just sort of touch on every character and then just quickly summarize them all really briefly, as there are a fair few to name. So for the buffed heroes in this update, so starting with Captain America, his base health has been reduced, as well as his shield value of his Living Legend ability. Doctor Strange has had his damage output reduced, as well as his Maelstrom of Madness conversion ratio from dark magic to damage. Hulk has had a buff, increasing his movement speed, as well as reducing his cooldown for his Indestructible Guard, and also decreasing the minimum charge time for his Incredible Leap, which will effectively allow him to shield himself more often and jump more often, which is, I agree with that. As for the other Vanguards, Magneto has had a slight nerf by increasing his ultimate energy cost on Meteor M. Penny Parker has had a slight buff, now being able to have a chance at dealing critical damage, also increasing her base health, and the Thing has had a slight nerf by decreasing his Embattled Leap damage reduction for himself and his teammates, and then Thor has had a increased health in his base health, as well as his movement speed as well. So that's all of the Vanguards. Now onto the duelists. Now, as for the duelists, I'm not going to go over every single one of them just like I did with the Vanguards, as there are far more to go over, and I wanted to keep this video slightly shorter. And of course, I am biased towards the Vanguard, so I wanted to go over that detail, as of course I am more interested than the rest of the characters. But by all means, if you want to hear more, let me know down below in the comments if you want me to go over more detail in an upcoming video for the duelists. So as for the DPS, or the duelist heroes that have been buffed and nerfed, starting with the buffed heroes, Black Widow, Hawkeye, Human Torch, Iron Man, Mr. Fantastic and Moon Knight have all been buffed. Hela and Iron Fist have both been buffed and nerfed. And then as for the duelist heroes that have been nerfed, you have had Star-Lord, Winter Soldier and Wolverine, which I completely agree with. If you look at the current meta, the likes of those three that have just been nerfed are probably in the top 3 or top 5 most commonly used duelists in the game, and also probably some of the most commonly banned characters throughout. And then if you add in the likes of Hela and Spider-Man, that's pretty much the top 5, I would say, for best or most commonly used duelists in the game right now. As on Spider-Man, I don't really understand why the character's not been nerfed yet. To me, it's a bit bizarre, because I think most of us agree he needs to be nerfed. There is really very little punishment for that character, and also it's a hard hero to counter, unless of course you have a Namor who's really competent and knows what they're doing. But the current dive meta with the likes of Venom and Spider-Man is just not right. I think it needs to be tweaked, and I definitely think it needs to be addressed, but hopefully they'll be on that as soon as possible. And then as for the strategists, we've had a Rocket and Mantis buff and nerf. We've also had an Adam Warlock and a Loki and an Invisible Woman nerf, and then we've also had a Cloak and Dagger buff, which I think all in all is probably quite fair. As long as Cloak and Dagger doesn't go back to the early sort of Season 1 days where the character is clearly the most efficient and effective healer in the game, then I think we should be good, and I think these are definitely the right tones to take. And finally, we will be getting 2 new maps which will be releasing in Season 2. One will be releasing on launch of the update on April 11th, which will be Krakoa, and I cannot wait to play this. It looks really colourful and cool. And then also we'll begin the Ultron theme map in the Season 2.5 update. So overall, this is a really good and bunch of positive news for the upcoming update. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, as it really helps me out. And if you have any alterations to this video or any news that you want to share or let me know, please just advise down below in the comments. I'm Vicious Gen, and I'll see you in the next one.